What's good, everybody? I'm sure that with this title and thumbnail, there is nothing I could say to stop you from disliking the video. But please hear me out, alright? This is not rage bait, just hear me out. As we all know, Movsar Evloev just beat Laurel Murphy this weekend, and we now finally have like a justified #1 contender for the featherweight division. I've been seeing a lot of discourse about this fight just as soon as the decision was announced, and from what people are saying that Movsar is going to lose decisively to Volk, and I think that's crazy. They're saying he quote-unquote struggled with Murphy, bruh. The fight with Murphy was close on the scorecards, but it was not close in skill in the slightest, bruh. Today we're going to go break down this fight, this future matchup, and I'll give my reasons for why our GOAT, Volkanovski, is probably going to lose the fight, and why will be my 13th reason why, alright? Let's get right into it. With the striking. Oh man, this fight was really weird with Murphy. Evloev Murphy was so strange, and my theory is, genuinely, like I'm not baiting, I'm not making a funny joke, I think Dana White told Evloev that he's not going to get a title shot if he smudges Murphy to a decision. He was like, look kid, you're not going to get a title shot if you smudge Murphy, no matter, I don't care if you're 20-0, undefeated, the #1 contender, we're going to give it to John Silva. It just looked like that because there's no reason for why Evloev shouldn't be wrestling in the first 2 rounds unless he's injured, unless he's super confident in his striking, which I don't think he is. I mean, I'm sure he's confident, but not super confident. It doesn't make any sense, man. Like, I think Dana White genuinely put that stipulation on Movsar, and that's why he went out there and did what he did, you know? Even in the later rounds, which he won, he just, like, shot, like, maybe 3-4 takedowns, and it was mostly on the feet, right? Fucking Dana White, Dana Pink pissing me off, bro. Anyway, to the fight. Volkanovski, Evloev. Both of these guys are powerless. Like, they have no power. If anyone ends up rocking someone, it's going to be like Volk to Movsar. But even there, I see Movsar having a really good chin. You know, he's fought Diego Lopez. He's fought all these guys that have, you know, that have some power, and they've had cracked them and nothing happened. I don't see Volkanovski being the one to knock out, you know, Evloev. Even with this fight and this weird thing that they had with the striking and fucking Evloev wasn't wrestling at all, he was outstriking Murphy, you know? Murphy won the first and second round in my book. I think some of the judges scored it against Evloev. Oh, no, they scored it for Evloev, even though it was probably Murphy. But they were just feeling out rounds, and it was super low output because Murphy was like wary of the takedowns and whatever. But bro, Evloev just stood there, banged, and then first, second round maybe got outstruck a little bit. Third, fourth, and fifth, outstruck the fuck out of Laurel Murphy, beat his ass real bad. And at that point, he didn't even really have the threat of the takedown because he'd shoot like 1 a round or 2 a round. It was really, really strange. Again, I don't know what's going on, but we know how good Volkanovski is at striking. Obviously, Volkanovski is better at striking than Evloev. And if this was just a striking match, and if Evloev stayed on the feet for the first 2 rounds against Volk, as he did against Laurel Murphy, he'd be forced to shoot immediately. Bro, if Evloev tries to stay on the feet like he did in this fight for more than a minute, he's getting forced to take down because Volk is gonna jab him up, he's gonna cross him up, he's gonna start like hitting them leg kicks. Like, there's no way Evloev stands that long against Volkanovski, but I think he won't. All right, I think he won't because we have the grappling. There will be wrestling and grappling. No matter if Dana White tries to put a condition on Evloev again, where it's like, oh, go out there, you know, here's your title shot, but you can't wrestle. Bro, Evloev is gonna wrestle. He's going to grapple in this fight, and he's going to grapple immediately. I'm 100% sure of it. There's going to be no fooling around, because even if Dana White tells him not to do it, bro, it's a title fight. I'm going to win this, however I have to win this, and then I'll be a champion forever, and then the UFC can do whatever they want with me after, but he'll be a champion. You know what I mean? Evloev's going to wrestle immediately, and his wrestling with Laurel Murphy, as I just said, was super, super, super weak. The wrestling, it felt like he was, you know, that Kamaru Usman clip was like, yo, he saw me at 70%. Bro, it felt like Evloev was giving 70% effort. In the second round, there was a point where he had him up against the fence, like in a weird clinch situation, and he had his back, and he just let him go to keep striking. You could tell that it was in Evloev's mind, like, okay, let's make this entertaining for the fans. Volk's interview just after the fight, like he put up a video on his channel or on Instagram talking about, I don't know what Evloev was doing out there. He was striking with with Laurel. I hope he wasn't trying to make it entertaining for the fans, you know, because he's not going to be doing that against me, whatever. This isn't that. I think that's what was going on with this situation. And yeah, he's not going to do this in the Volk fight. Evloev, we saw how he was taking down Murphy at will, literally at will, and it was just like super easy. There was no exhaustion from his side. At the end of the fight, Laurel Murphy couldn't get up. You know, maybe that was part of, you know, the hip injury that he got in the fight. But I think part of that was just the absolute fatigue he accumulated from getting wrestled from Movsar. We've seen Movsar's dominant grappling against Aljamain Sterling. In his other wins, he did out-wrestle Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez almost got that knee bar on him, though. That was crazy. And yeah, man, I do believe Movsar can take down and hold down most of the division. John Silva, Diego Lopez, we saw that fight. Aljamain Sterling, we saw that fight. I think he can take down Volk almost nearly at will. I think he'll get 70 or 80% of the takedowns he shoots. But I don't think he can hold him down. All right? Similar situation to Islam and Volk. Movsar's going to take Volk down, but he will not hold him down, and he will not do submissions. All right? He won't get any submission attempts. However, I'm telling you this, and you think, wait, are you picking Volk or Movsar? I'm picking Movsar because I think anytime Volk gets into any sort of rhythm, striking, leg kicks, whatever it is, his feints, he starts spamming the feints, and he gets those nasty ass jabs going, those stiff ass jabs. I think Movsar is just going to take him down and interrupt the rhythm. It's just going to be a constant interruption of the rhythm. It's going to be one of those decisions. He strikes for a little bit. Right when Volk seems to be turning the tide and outstriking him, he's recovered from the last takedown attempt. Boom. New takedown attempt. It's going to be crazy, all right? But there are some intangibles that we have to talk about. And I think this is where the prime conversations get into place, all right? Movsar is 32, 33. I don't know how old this guy is. He's 32, 33, and Volk is old, man. He's old. We saw that decline near the end. In the second fight with Lopez, Volk won that fight, and the decline, it wasn't as visible as it would have otherwise been if Lopez wasn't a fucking blockhead that doesn't know how to adapt, I'm super glad Volk won that fight. Again, if I have to say it, I'll say it as many times as I have to in this video. I love Volkanovski. He's my second favorite fighter. And I did pick him to lose against Diego Lopez, but it hurts my heart. I don't want Volk to lose. I know this is going to be my second time picking him to lose in a row, but I do not want Volk to lose, bro, I promise. If Volk was fighting anyone except Movsar, I'd put Chin here as an intangible, but he's fighting Movsar, and Movsar has no power. And again, Volk has no power, so Chin is out of the equation for this. I do believe Volk has better cardio, all right? And that's weird because he is an older fighter, but I think Volk, with the experience, the 5-round experience, his, how many 5-round wars he's been in, 3 5-rounders with Max Holloway. He was a 5-rounder with Islam. He had, 4 rounds against Yair. He had a 5-round decision with Ortega. He's been in these 5-rounders forever, and he's looked super great. He never looks like he gasses out. 2 5-rounders with Diego Lopez, too. Forgot to mention that. But I think in this fight, like I said, it's going to be Movsar taking him down repeatedly. Not holding him down, but taking him down. And near the 4th and 5th round, we're going to start to see Movsar gas. And I think it's going to have to be a round. We're going to see a round or two that Volk does win based on cardio. He'll stuff maybe 80% of the takedowns that Movsar shoots in those last 2 rounds. He'll win those 10-9. Definitely not 10-8, but he'll win those 10-9. And I can't see, maybe the 5th round, it gets really close. Maybe the ref gets close to stepping in near the end. Maybe Movsar shoots in on a takedown. Volk, sprawls on the front headlock. And then Movsar, goes on his back, starts playing guard because he's so tired. And Volk just starts boom, 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 raining down the ground and pound. It'll be kind of a end of Islam Makhachev 1 fight with Volkanovski, where at the end, boom, 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 raining down the ground and pound, and it looks super bad for the fans. The fans were going to be yo, Volk got robbed, whatever. This fight is going to be a 48. It's going to be a 48-47. I could see a 49-46 where Volk wins only the last round. It'll be a very decisive and clear. It'll be Dominic Reyes, John Jones, where the fight was close, but Dominic Reyes easily won 3 rounds. Clearly won 3 rounds, and then Jones won 2 rounds. I think it'll be Movsar clearly wins 3 or 4 rounds, and Volk clearly wins either the last round or the last 2 rounds. Speed-wise, Movsar is going to be faster than Volk. I know we know Volk as this guy that's super fast, super agile, but honestly, that's because he doesn't really fight fast fighters, right? The fights where he's fought fast fighters, Jose Aldo, super fast, he smudged them. Watch that fight on the come up, Volk or GOAT, he did smudge Jose Aldo the same way Mario Bautista did. Super tragic. AI, we're not going to talk about that, but he did smudge Jose Aldo. Yair, a faster striker on the feet. Volk wrestled him. I'm not hating on Volk for wrestling Yair. That's what you're supposed to do when someone's faster than you. But Volk is not the fastest guy in this division. He had to wrestle Yair, and then he finished him by ground and pound. And then the last guy that's maybe on his level is Max Holloway. And Max Holloway, he did outbox, he did outspeed, he did outstrike over those 3 fights. I do I did score maybe the second fight for Max. I'd have to rewatch it. But speed-wise, he's like maybe on par with Max Holloway. And other than that, he's fought slow-ass guys. Brian Ortega is a fucking zombie on the feet. Korean Zombie is literally called the Korean Zombie. Fucking Chad Mendes, like, these guys are slow on the feet, alright? So that's why Volk looks fast. Evloev is fucking fast, bro. He's so fast. He doesn't have the best striking technique, but this guy's super speedy. With his takedowns, with his grappling, with his transitions, with his striking, he will outspeed Volk. Not by much, but it'll be like a Yair Rodriguez. It'll be like Yair Rodriguez speed difference if Yair had better grappling than Volk. Literally, this is Yair with less flashy striking and like more fundamental striking and just better grappling against Volk, against old Volk. And that's just what it is, man. And then last, we gotta talk about the grit. Obviously, Volkanovski has more grit. Obviously, he's been in these wars. He got out that Brian Ortega guillotine, you know. He got rocked in his Islam fight, came back. He had some close moments in the second fight with Max. He has more grit, and that's why I think he'll win the 4th and 5th rounds. His cardio and his grit will get him those rounds. But that'll be it, man. He'll get those 2 rounds, and Movsar will get the first 3. And that's just what it is. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to be a 49-46, 48-47 decision. It really hurts me to say. Like, I don't know if you can hear the pain in my voice. But this is not a result that I want to happen, alright? I'm sure some people, most people, are going to be screaming for robbery as soon as the decision goes up. It'll be tragic. Volk's probably going to retire. People be like, oh, you know, what else is there for me to do in this sport? I'm a 2-time champion. I can just imagine. I can just see it in my head. You know, Movsar's going to be celebrating. Crowd going to be dead fucking silent. There's going to be not a chirp from the crowd. It's going to be tragic. And yeah, man. I'm sure Volk will do some more damage than Evloev. He'll outstrike Evloev at moments, and maybe Evloev will be like a little bruised by the end of the fight, but it won't be enough to sway the judges, alright? And let me emphasize, for the last time, I do not want this to happen. I do not want this to happen, alright? Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think about this matchup? I know this is a depressing ass video. I apologize. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys again for watching. I'm gonna go cry, alright? Ciao.